Hello, I'm Adinser and this is my Holy Pally guide for challenge mode dungeons. Bear in mind though that all of this can be applied to mythic dungeons as well, because even though they require far less team communication and overall tactics, on a personal skill level they are similar. I will make a video like this one for every other healer and I will keep them short and to the point. I will also try to pump them out as quickly as I can. So let's get right into it. As in raids, so do Holy Pallids shine in dungeons with their stable healing and a plethora of cooldowns, which are even more prevalent in dungeons than in raids. So, as you might have guessed, the best we have to offer in dungeons are our hands. First of all, I have to point out that Hand of Freedom can be a major healing cooldown. There are some mobs that cast roots and slows that do high direct damage to their targets, and Freedom dispels the effect when nothing else can, outside of course of Hand of Protection, but you want to save those for other situations. Just keep an eye out on the debuffs your party gets. Like in Bloodmouse Lagmines, a lot of the Ogre Trash casts are slow that does a lot of damage and you can just dispel it with Freedom. Hand of Sacrifice is even more important and really should be used on cooldown, at least the first charge. Most trash are harder than bosses, so don't be afraid to waste one Hand of Sacrifice on them, and all other cooldowns as well, because as paladins we have many, as I said, but even better, they recharge quickly. Now the main thing here is that our gameplay doesn't change much when you go from raids to dungeons, or the other way around, if you play like I do in raids. And by the way, I made the basic Holy Pally guide for patch 6.2, so make sure to check that out if you're new to the spec. So the way I play is I almost never use AoE abilities and just focus on single target spells. The most powerful spell we have is Holy Prison, and it is 10 times as powerful in dungeons because you get to heal the entire party, not just a handful of people. Keep an eye out on it at all times and use it as much as possible, though there are bosses where you only heal 1 or 2 people with it. Those are the bosses where everyone is spread out around the boss, so they are too far away to receive the heal. Especially if you have only ranged DPS. In the footage here I did have only ranged DPS, so I was switching back and forth between Prism and Hammer. Now Hammer is usually a PvP only spell, or Retribution spell, but if you use double Bacon you get to top 3 people with it every 1 minute. So in general you have more of a choice here than in raids. You can even replace double Bacon with Saved by the Light, which is also a PvP only spell. You should use this when your tank keeps dying and you can't prevent his death any other way. It also helps you stay alive. If however you are using double Bacon, the best targets are the tank obviously and a melee. Again though, if you don't have a melee, put it on yourself so that you can stay alive more and keep on healing because of it. Another thing to keep in mind here is that 2 out of 5 people have the Bacon, so you should always prioritize healing the other 3. That way you will heal 3 people most of the time. So, just quickly to recap. Get Light of Dawn and the Radiance out of your rotation completely. Keep putting Eternal Flame on 3 targets or Sacred Shield, whichever one you choose. Again, that's another example of how much more choice you have. Use your Prism or Hammer to full effect and abuse your hands as much as you can. Then come our DPS spells. A lot of the time in these mythic and challenge mode dungeons you will have the chance to DPS. Take as many of those chances as you can. Remember that you're not just a healer, you're a paladin. Your DPS is insane and you have things like Fist of Justice to stun adds that are particularly nasty, and you have Rebuke to interrupt powerful abilities either on the boss or on the adds. As for Avenging Wrath, your trinkets, Lay on Hands, Devotion Aura and the Divine Shield Use them whenever you need them. Even if you use wings, being your primary CD, on a couple of fads right before the boss. As long as you are using Sanctified Wrath, which you should be doing anyway, the spell will get off cooldown by the time you need it in the upcoming boss fight. It's always better to waste the CD than risk dying and resetting the instance. That should be all you need to know when it comes to dungeons of all difficulty levels. If I missed something or made a mistake, please correct me in the comments below. Tomorrow I will cover the Discipline and Holy Priest in the same video. Thanks for watching and see ya then.